Replacing wire spool. When a wire spool stops rotating, it is assumed after 5 to 7 staples that spool is empty. The booklet maker will indicate out of wire and which spool it is that it is empty. From that point, there is approximately 15 staples left in the stitcher head. Replace the empty spool to continue production or disable stapling action for that stitcher head. Select a large paper size like SRA 3 or 11 times 17 inches in order to move the rear jogger assembly away from the stitcher heads. Turn off the booklet maker. Raise the top cover to service position. Turn the wire threading lever clockwise to the off position, 3 o'clock, to relieve pressure on the wire. Note: removing the rotator operating spring and then the magnetic rotator is not necessary, but will give better access. Remove by lifting the rotator operating spring at the lower end, swing it aside and remove the magnetic rotator. Use tape or a rubber band to make sure the remaining wire, if any, on the wire spool is stopped from unwinding when the wire is cut. Cut the wire between the spool and the wire guide spring assay. Pull the wire from hole above the cutter in the faceplate assay, just above the magnetic rotator, and then pull the wire downwards to remove it from the stitcher head. Loosen the set screw in the set collar and remove the set collar from the wire spool shaft. Remove the wire spool. Install the new wire spool so that it just touches the wire spool spring. The spring acts as a friction brake and its purpose is to prevent the spool from spinning by itself and unwinding the wire. Install the set collar on the wire spool shaft. Push in set collar and wire spool so that the spring compresses approximately 2 mm. Rotate the felt pads slightly so that a clean area can be used for cleaning and lubricating the wire on the new wire spool. Feed the wire over the wire guide pulley down between the straightening rollers and into the hole as indicated. Push down on the check pole collar to continue feed the wire. The collar can be released when the wire gets past the check pole. Continue to feed the wire and watch for it to come out past the gripper. Feed a little more wire and guide it into the hole above the cutter. In the faceplate assay, allow the wire to enter this hole about 3 mm. Turn the wire threading lever counterclockwise to the on position, 12 o'clock. Install the wire between the wire guide rollers, between the thick and thin round felt pads, and in the gap in the wire guide spring assay. The replacing wire spool procedure is now completed. In case you remove the rotator operating spring and the magnetic rotator, insert the magnetic rotator and then put the rotator operating spring back at its position.